Hey guys, my name's Nova, this is Film Express, and today I'll be talking to you about one of my absolute favorite films of the year, Park Chan-Wook's Decision to Leave. Park Chan-Wook has to be one of the best directors working right now. He's one of my favorites for sure. He's just so refreshingly unique and creative, and all of his films really stand out. You know, ever since he came out on the scene, all of his films have left a really big impact on the industry, you know, not only in Korea, but also in the Western world. And his films have also left a huge impact on me. Old Boy is just one of my favorite films of all time. The Handmaiden as well, and I think every single one of his films in between as well have left a huge impact on me. You know, Old Boy alone is just super iconic. I actually have an Old Boy tattoo. I've always loved that movie. I've always loved Park Chan-Wook's way of making films. You know, he's a master of twists and turns and these crazy disturbing ideas that he manages to somehow make super digestible for the Western world, which I find it takes a really astute mind to do something like that. He always has a dash of black dark comedy, which I love. You know, it always makes his films feel super refreshing, even if there's like incredibly dark subject matter. He always manages to somehow make you laugh in the scene here or there. You know, he's one of the only directors I can say that the violence in his films is super purposeful, and it always benefits the narrative. Films will just be violent for the sake of being violent, but the violence in Park Chan-Wook's films, like every stab or bullet or anything, you really feel the impact of those moments. So like I said, like ever since Old Boy and The Handmaiden, Park Chan-Wook has films that have left a huge impact on the industry, and honestly, Decision to Leave is no different. Decision to Leave is one of the craftiest, most inventively unique films that I've seen in a long time. Has to be one of my favorites of the year, and Park Chan-Wook won Best Director at the Cannes Film Festival for this film, and I can absolutely truly see why. Fully rightfully deserved. It's such a visually unique film just to start off, but it's also the way the story unfolds. It's basically unlike anything I've ever seen. There's a lot of detective noir mystery elements that are very reminiscent of old Alfred Hitchcock films, but he obviously makes it super modern, and that's one thing about his films that I need to commend, is that they always feel super modern in terms of the technology and times that they're trying to represent. So that really makes his films super engaging as well. I went in to see Decision to Leave with a lot of hype. You know, I saw the trailer looked incredible, the visuals looked incredible, and I just always have like a high standard for his films, so I held it to a high regard, and I went in and I absolutely was not disappointed. I must say it's one of those films that really requires a second viewing. It's a dense, poetic, and absolutely rewarding film, but there's so much to unpack, and it's a film that you need to see twice, and I'm absolutely looking forward to a chance where I can watch it again, because there's so many things I'm sure I'm going to pick up on now or understand better. You know, I was ready for a great film, but I was not ready for a movie to absolutely devastate me and leave me just shook, because this film, it's one of those films that, you know, if you're invested in the characters and you're invested in the story, you're going to be rewarded with an incredible emotional gut punch of a story. I would say this is as lush and beautiful as The Handmaiden and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. It's definitely not as dark and gritty as like Old Boy or Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. This can easily be said that this is Park Chan-Wook's most mature and modest films. It's like the least overtly sexual, overtly violent. It's all done with a kind of a class and an elegance and a delicateness that I find is very rare to see in his movies, and I find that that's an incredible thing. You're basically pulled through this huge noir mystery. It's like a labyrinth of deceit. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what's going on. All the while you're seeing this like sexual tension between this detective and this widow, and that romance is blossoming, and you find out more about her and him, and they both open up to each other in a way that just really took me for a ride, and I really didn't know what to expect. This film has just very powerful imagery and very powerful themes and motifs, and this is why I really think that this is the type of film that you need to see twice, maybe even 3 times. An incredible use of like water imagery and the water motif throughout this film that is the most visually iconic that I've seen in a long time, and it really stands out in a way that just shows that Park Chan-Wook is a strong artist. We're really blessed to be in the presence of a director like this who really knows how to get his ideas across and to tell a visually rewarding and lush story like this. The one thing I love about Park Chan-Wook's films is always like the production design, the set design, like the wallpapers and the locations are always so iconic in this film. There's a lot of scenes in this film like at top of the mountain or at the beach, and you really get a sense of like not only the spatial sense of and scale of the location, but just like the beauty and the colors and the lushness of the sound design, and everything everything really comes together to give you a really good sense of the environment. And I really find that a lot of directors don't have that same type of attention to detail that Park Chan-Wook has. This film is one of those films that you really just need to experience in terms of the narrative. There's so much going on, and I really don't want to tell you too much. I don't want to spoil too much. It's just really worth letting that narrative unfold and letting that ending hit you, because that ending absolutely left me devastated. It's one of those films that you just like, you go into the shower and you just think about it for like half an hour. Also, this film has some of the best musical score that I've heard this year alone. It's just a series of like sweeping and luxurious musical arrangements and melodies that like they captivated me throughout the whole film. I'm very impressed with how it was all orchestrated. It's super catchy and it's super memorable and super iconic as well. It's its own thing and it brings something new to the table. And I hope a lot of people feel that way too about the music, because I really find that if I would nominate this film for anything, it's the directing and the music, and I really need to mention the editing. This film has some of the best smash cuts that I've seen in a long time. You know, a smash cut is not a very easy technique to pull off, either in the framing or the meaning. There always needs to be a purpose for a smash cut, and Park Chan-Wook uses a smash cut in this film maybe 2 or 3 times in super effective and glaringly unique ways. I find that he's just a master of bringing new techniques to the table. Every single one of his films has something new to present, whether it's the hallway scene in Old Boy, whether it's the twist in The Handmaiden, you know, whether it's the visuals and Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. He's always bringing something new to the table, and there's always one thing in his films that's almost like a main attraction that you need to tune in for. In this film specifically, not only the ending is amazing, but there's like a sleuthing sequence in the middle of the film, a very, very unique detective sequence that kind of just blends styles and messes with the structure and the format and almost like the fourth wall. It's one of the most beautiful and unique ways to tell a story that I've seen in a long time. It goes beyond the basic just narrating or flashbacks. There's a big flashback in Old Boy that goes back to the main character Odesu's college days. And there's a variety of techniques used in that flashback that are brought up again in Decision to Leave. The way Park Chan-Wook uses them in Decision to Leave are almost way more unique and way more creative. Basically, he's just challenging himself, I think, to just get more and more creative with the way he's telling the story. And, you know, the audience is the only one who really benefits from that. We're just getting more unique films and more unique ways for him to unfold his narratives and for him to hit you with these plot points that just become super effective. They're unfolded to you in a way that you've never seen before. They're presented to you in a way that you've never seen before. And Park Chan-Wook is one of the only directors who can do this. So overall, I'm just going to try to keep it short today. Park Chan-Wook's Decision to Leave is easily in my top 3 of the year for now. It might be one of my favorites alongside with Triangle of Sadness. It's just a masterwork of directorial skill that is reminiscent of Alfred Hitchcock, but also is completely new in its own thing, and I could see it being regarded as a classic, you know, 10, 15, 20 years from now. Along the lines of Old Boy and Handmaiden, for me, it's up there with those films in terms of quality. I know a lot of people have said that it's not among Park Chan-Wook's best, but to me, it's some of his most refreshingly unique, mature, and elegant and polite work that he's done in a while. And his themes and his messages are so dense that they require a second watch. So with that being said, I think everyone needs to watch this film twice. In fact, I'm going to try to watch this film again today or tomorrow and just analyze it deeper and get more into it, because this is just an incredibly rewarding and beautiful experience. And again, an ending that just left me devastated, speechless, and shook. Like, it gave me goosebumps. I can feel the goosebumps on my arm right now. That is my short and sweet review of Park Chan-Wook's Decision to Leave, a movie that all of you need to watch as soon as you can get your hands on it. There's a version of it popping up online right now with really bad subs. Don't watch that one. Watch a good one. Try to get your hands on the real thing. Please like, please share, please comment, please subscribe if you haven't already. This is Film Express, and I'll be bringing you guys a lot more film reviews where this came from. So again, cheers guys, and thanks for tuning in.